I'm gonna be for real with you, bro. My whole life I've dealt with anxiety. Like, since the day I was born, bro, I was an anxious little motherfucker. I was. But my life kind of pushed me to have anxiety. But I'm gonna tell you that there's actually a few things that you can gain from having anxiety. This world has put a very negative kind of connotation towards anxiety. Anxiety's got you, you've got anxiety, and we've all felt it. We've all felt anxious, we've all felt socially anxious, and I get it. But I want to teach you what I've done to make anxiety a choice. Because I've chosen through my conscious decisions that anxiety is a tool for me, not something that is a weakness. And this is completely different advice from any other video you would watch, any book that you'd read on anxiety, because I'm a young man, bro, that has dealt with it intimately. My whole life, as I mentioned, bro, I have been through the ringer of family violence, growing up poor in the ghetto for 20 years, being a drug addict myself, bro, getting myself involved in all of these wrongdoings. I've dealt with it, bro. And I now know, as a young man that I am, that anxiety has been nothing more than a signal to me that things were happening in my life that I wasn't in control of, or things in my life that weren't going right because of who I was. And that's a big thing. I'm going to look at this because I want you to realize that anxiety is a choice in how you view it. Because a lot of us will feel anxious. Look, and I can't tell you that you can stop your mind and you will never feel anxious again. I don't think that we can. Because to this day, I still get anxious. But I kind of catch myself and I zoom into it. I'm like, okay, beautiful. I'm anxious now. Let's go. I become more smarter. I become more focused. I become more dialed when I am anxious because I'm like, well, now I've got some more power, some more fuel to push me forward. But let me get back on track. Anxiety to me is a choice. And I want you to use it as a tool to fuel you forward. Because to me, what anxiety can do for you is open up a can of like where you're not doing well, what you don't have control of, and how to go about it. So let's look at it, right? If we look at it as a tool, then how we could frame it, it's a self-awareness tool. And this can open you up to what you're not in control of, and then also what's going on. Because my whole life growing up, this anxiety buckled me. It buckled me, bro, to where I didn't want to leave my house. And only a few of you boys might know this. In some of the earlier years of my 20s, I'm 27 now, bro, so it was about 22, 23 years old, I dealt with agoraphobia. Like, bro, this was like a full-on condition where I couldn't even leave the house. This was a small spurt, it was like 2 weeks. I was scared like something would happen. Like some crazy thing, bro, the boogeyman would come and get me. That's how it kind of felt. So like, I never wanted to leave my house because I was so anxious and so worried, just like some bad shit would happen. This was cooked, bro, and this was like on the start of my self-improvement journey as well. So like, bro, I was improving and I felt this way. But if we were looking at it as a tool, then what you can do as a young man is that you can look at, okay, what are you not in control of? You're not in control of this, you're not in control of this, you're not in control of this. Okay, cool, fine. There are things in our lives that we can't be certainly in control of. You can't control the weather, you can't control how this person acts, you can't control this, you can't control this. But you need to now look at what you can control in your life. Because the honest truth is, there's only a very small amount of things in your own life that you can control. You can't control if your heart stops beating. You can't control, if you get a cancer or something. But you can control what you can control. So you can control what time you get up. You can control how you look at a situation. You can control the work that you do. You can control what you do. And this has been a big thing for me to push myself forward because I'm like, okay, I don't control this, I don't control that, I don't control that motherfucker, but I control myself, how I look at things, how I perceive things, and what I do. And we're going to break this open a little bit more, but to keep going, I believe that as a man, we have innately been designed to have feelings of anxiety, to feel depressed at times, to have all of these things, right? The way we see things, perceive things, the way we think has all been evolutionized from when we were coming up from the caveman days. So I want you to look at anxiety, not for only what you can start to control, but also more as, okay, what's going on? Because if you look at anxiety as a signal, and this is what I've done, and you go into the signal, okay, I'm feeling anxious. What are you anxious about? You're anxious because you're fat. You're anxious because you're broke. You're anxious because you're socially inept. You're anxious because of this. You're anxious because of that. Well, then you can use anxiety as a tool to think, okay, well, wow, let me get my body on point. Let me hone in on my social skills by going out to events and cold approaching some girls and taking care of myself. You can use anxiety to open up where you might be deficient. And most of us boys know, as like genuine young men, you can think, okay, if I had a bad bitch by my side, if I had some money, if I had my body on point, if I was a man of my word, if I had some discipline, I'd be a better young man. And I can absolutely tell you, bro, even still having anxiety in my life, because of who I am, because of how I think, because I'm a man of my word, because my body is strong, because I push every day, when anxiety comes, beautiful, great, I've got to power up in the energy that I got today to get shit done. And the reason I get anxious now, bro, is still because we only just got out of the ghetto a few years ago, G. Like, I'm talking like, man. So my whole life has still kind of had a few things going on from time to time being the young man I am. And I'm like, okay, cool, great. Now I'm 10 steps ahead of people because I'm a little bit anxious. I'm just going to figure it out. I'm going to use it as a tool because it's a power. And that's how I've conceptualized it in my mind. It's a power. It's not something that destroys me. It's something that powers me up. And that's a crazy thing to say, but we only have control of our mind as well and how we internalize things. So 99% of people think depression is a bad thing. Think anxiety is a bad thing. Nah. Depression is nothing more than us telling ourselves that we're living a shit life. Anxiety is nothing more of like, okay, we don't have control of this, but what can we get control of? Open up. Okay, I'm a bit aware now of what's going on. Boom, I'm going to figure it out. That's how I look at anxiety. That's how I even look at depression. But let me open this up for you now, bro, so that you get an understanding of my mind after you've decided that you're going to use anxiety as an advantage to you. Now, the biggest thing for me has been the ability to tap into anxiety as power and as a driving force. So if you look at this, right, anxiety in life can be turned into action. Because I'll ask you, as a man, or just as a human, when is your brain firing the most? Your brain isn't firing when you're sitting at home in front of the TV. It's not firing when you're sitting on the toilet doing something, scrolling on your phone. It's firing when you're in that kind of fight or flight response, right? You're thinking, oh, you're aware. Your brain's going 100 miles a moment, right? It is. So whenever I feel anxious, right, I go straight into work. I'll go gym, I'll start pushing and I'll push some heavy weights. I'll go into writing my book, I'll start doing some coaching calls, I'll do whatever I gotta do. And I perform best under this pressure that I feel within my own self because the anxiety is just coming out of me. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get shit done. And here's something, right, bro, and I'm gonna tell you the honest truth. Action alleviates anxiety. So this sounds insane. But the more you work, the less anxious you feel. If you're worried about making money, but every single day you're putting in that work, I guarantee you're going to be less anxious. If you're worried about your confidence, you don't feel good about yourself, but you're in the gym every single day, taking action, pushing forward, doing some cold approaches to some girls after your body starts to, build up. Action alleviates anxiety. You got some family problems, you got this going on, you got this going on. Action, action, action. And when you can back up action by day results, boom, anxiety is almost fucking non-existent, or you flip the switch in your mind. It's like anxiety is my biggest and baddest best friend because it's pushing me to get shit done. Now with that, I look at anxiety as another tool to focus, right? And this can kind of latch on to this same point, but take it from me. We're living in a time where our attention is literally being fought for by big tech companies, by the government, bro. Like, everyone is fighting for our focus, for our attention. And most of us, we're scrolling, we're jerking, we're watching TV, we're playing games, and they're winning. The system is winning. But I can tell you also with anxiety, as you put in action, your focus can tenfold. So let's say you're anxious about money. Well, if you get anxiety, bro, and you use it as a tool because it's a signal to push you to do some more shit with your life, then all you need to do is realize, okay, I'm anxious, time to focus, time to win. I can tell you, right, bro, back in the day, whenever I used to cold approach girls or whenever I used to do this or do that, right, when I was most anxious, I was most smoothest. When I was most anxious in my life, I was the most smartest. Like, even to this day, when I'm anxious, and it happens, I'm firing from all fucking cylinders in my mind that I'm just so smart. I talk so smoothly. I get more done in the same amount of time. Like, I'm doing 5 hours worth of work in an hour because my focus is unmatched because I'm anxious about my situation. But I want to be less anxious about it, so I take action. And that focus that I get from being anxious produces results. And this is a crazy way to look at it, but look at what we've done so far. We've changed the game of what anxiety is for us. Now, social anxiety is a complete different other thing, but anxiety is an advantage for taking action, for focusing more. And then with that, right, I can tell you this. I now have changed my viewpoint of anxiety so much to where I don't fear it. And this is going to sound how it sounds to a lot of you boys. It's going to sound cracked. Like, who says this? But I've now looked at anxiety as something as fun. Or I look at it as excitement. And I've just got all of this excitement inside of me. Because anxiety is a big thing, bro. And anxiety has buckled me in the past. But I now look at it, okay, today's going to be a crazy day. Right? And if you boys know me, I'm a very fast-paced, high-energy young man. So when I'm anxious, bro, like, you should see me, bro, the way that I walk, the way that I talk, how I am. I'm a very, I'm a unique individual. And then when I'm anxious, I'm like, okay, here we go. Today's gonna be a crazy day. And I love it. Because I get more done. I'm more smarter. I'm more switched on. I'm just faster. So I look at anxiety as this canned energy that I can push out to my work, to my body, to my mind, to the boys that I coach, to my projects that I'm working on. I look at it in that sense. And if you can flip the switch, but okay, I'm anxious today, it's going to be a fun day. I'm going to get shit done. Come on, let's go. It changes the game. Now, is this easy to do? No. But it can be done. And how do you think it can be done? Day by day, implement what I tell you. Implement this mindset. And you'll feel the switch just like that over a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, until it also becomes kind of conditioned in your mind. So when I'm anxious, I love it. I really love it, bro. Because I'm like, I'm going to win the day. Shit's going to get done. I'm going to be more smarter. And most of us can't control when it hits. So what we can do when it hits is take it on board. Okay, it's here now. Time to win. And there's a way that I can help you even without this kind of system that I've given you, bro. Anxiety is nothing more also than a mindset. And when you do have those anxious, or it becomes too hard to bear, and I understand that, because you're all not like me. What you can look at anxiety as, bro, as like a shadow, right? And it's like this anxiety shadow that's in front of you. And all you need to do is close your eyes and step through the shadow. And you leave the shadow behind you of anxiety or being nervous or being worried. And that changes the game for me as well. So like back in the day before I internalized it and made this mindset shift, I looked at anxiety as something that I could literally just, boom, step out of it. And I did. And having been anxious for a long period of my life, bro, if not all of my life, I can absolutely tell you, looking at it from this perspective of switching the mindset, of understanding that you can just step out of it by closing your eyes and boom, leaving it in the dark, it can change anxiety for you to where it becomes an ally, not an enemy. It becomes something that pushes you, not destroys you. If you want help to beat your anxiety, bro, go to the link in the description and I will coach you on how to beat it, how to instill this software into your mind to where it becomes an asset to you. You can also message me on Instagram And just realize, if you sign up to coaching with me, bro, you're going to have a group of young men all like you, winning, pushing forward, a network of brothers that you can call them. I love you, bro. And this is how you do it.